Welcome to the Real Life Weight Loss Podcast, where we cut through the confusion and get down to the truth about what really works for real people when it comes to losing weight, having incredible health, and a body that you love. We believe that losing weight is really about gaining life, doing things you never thought you could, having renewed confidence, and enjoying your body more than ever. I'm your host, Corey Little. Now let's get to it. Hello and welcome back. This is episode number 278, and today I'm going to explain to you 3 secrets to becoming consistent, 3 secrets to increasing your consistency when it comes to losing weight or dieting or really pretty much anything in life. And since I wrote the title for this episode, I actually added 2 more secrets. I added 2 more tips, so those are kind of bonus. So there's actually 5 things I'm going to explain to you that will greatly increase your chances of being consistent, like I said, with pretty much anything you want to do in life, especially though when it comes to making great food choices and exercising and taking steps in a positive direction to lose weight. Now, this episode is actually kind of a part 2 of an episode I did, my goodness, about 150 episodes ago, somewhere back in the 100s. There was an episode I did called Motivation, Commitment, and Consistency. And I wanted to revisit those concepts because, number one, people will often mention that episode and how impactful and how helpful it was for them. And then number 2, I just wanted to update it. There's some things that I feel could be updated and really improved. So some of this, if you can remember that episode from 150 episodes ago, then some of this might seem like a repeat, right? Some of this may be familiar to you, but that's okay. Listen to it again, ingrain it, take some notes if you will. But also there's going to be some new stuff. So we're going to go over each of these concepts. We're going to go over motivation, commitment, and consistency. And when we get to consistency, I'm going to explain actually the 5 secrets, my 5 big tips to help you become more and more consistent with anything you want to do in life. Okay? Okay, now, these big 3, motivation, commitment, and consistency, they oftentimes will get bunched together. Like, I just need to be more motivated and consistent, and I just really got to get committed. Like, we just sling all of these around and we bunch them together, but they're very, very different. One of these 3 is incredibly overrated. And if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you probably know which one. If not, that's okay. Hang with me. One is incredibly overrated. One of these is the secret to almost anything you want in life. And then the other one is the absolutely essential ingredient to get that, to actually get anything you want in life. So today, like I said, I'm going to explain all 3, and I'm going to give you what I like to think is the secret behind the secret. I'm going to dig in, and we're going to really explore these, and I'll explain how they work so that you'll be prepared to move forward in a positive direction. And I said this 100 and something episodes ago, and I'm saying it again now. One of the reasons I'm doing the episode is because I want you to understand I'm not always motivated. I'm not always motivated to do this podcast. I'm not always motivated to work out. I'm not always motivated to eat healthy and clean and to eat quote unquote right. Yeah, Corey, dude, I don't believe that, man. You're like the nutrition robot, and you used to be a bodybuilder, and like you're Mr. Weight Loss podcast guy. So I don't believe it. No, guys, it's the truth. I am not always motivated. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm very consistent. It's just life. It's just the reality of the way it is. I'm definitely not always motivated. And here's the thing. I love this podcast, but sometimes I'm not very motivated to record an episode. I go through phases like all the rest of you. So why do I keep pumping out consistent episodes? What gets me through that, right? Not saying it's like some horrible drudgery, but what gets me through? Why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep going to the gym and working out consistently? It has to do with these 3 elements: motivation, commitment, and consistency, and understanding them fully. Let's get into that right now. Let's start with the big one, motivation. Earlier, I said 1 is massively overrated, and that is motivation. Guys, gals, we know this, right? Some days we feel like Superman or Wonder Woman, and we're fired up and confident, and we feel like we can conquer just about anything, whatever. Bring it at me. I'm ready. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And then, in what seems like the blink of an eye, I mean, it literally could be just a few minutes later, we feel tired, and discouraged, and doubtful, and totally unsure if we can do or if we're even willing to do what it takes. And we're unsure if it's even worth it too, right? It's like, I don't even know if this is worth it. I'll get back at this later this week. I'll get back at this tomorrow. So what are we supposed to do if our motivation is like, oh, I'm Wonder Woman, I'm Superman? Now I just don't even care. And I know some of you are like, yes, that's how I feel right now. That's how I felt last week. Yes. So what are we supposed to do with this, right? How do we keep our motivation high so that we can achieve the results in the life that we want? Well, I think we're asking the wrong question, because the question I just asked is, how do we keep our motivation high? That's not what we need to be exploring. Let me explain. See, motivation, we like it because it feels good. And I've talked about motivation a good bit on the podcast recently. I talked about recently external and internal motivation. So we're just going to do kind of a quick overview of this, but please don't miss it, because these are just some core foundational concepts that I teach every client that I think can be really helpful for you. Motivation feels good. I love it. You love it. We all love it. But motivation is majorly overrated when it comes to losing weight and achieving results and getting the body you want. It's an emotion. Motivation is a feeling. And like all feelings, it comes and it goes. Now, please understand, it always goes. No one is always motivated. Even if they might look like they are, they're not. If you see someone and you're like, Corey, I know this guy, I know this girl, and they're always motivated. So what you're telling me is bullcrap. No, listen, they're not. They're just consistently choosing action. And to the outside observer, to you or me, it may appear that this person is motivated, but what I guarantee is that what it really is, when we peel the layers back, is they're just committed. And we'll get to that in a minute, right? We're going to talk about commitment. So let me just say it again in regards to motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and our feelings will betray us when it comes to our goals and the life we want. If you're a note taker, you might want to write that down. This is important to understand. My goodness, our feelings will betray us when it comes to our goals and the life we want. We can make decisions based on the life we want, or we can make decisions based off of how we feel in a certain moment. A temporary, short-term feeling. Now, if you ask me, basing our decisions off of how we feel, it sounds kind of like something a child would do. Yet all of us, big children, us adults, we do it all the time, don't we? But we just see it a little differently. And then we say things like, oh, well, I deserve it. I've had such a tough day. Or, man, I really needed that. Even though what we're really doing is just making a decision based off of how we felt, based off of how we feel in that moment. So again, please understand that regardless of how many YouTube videos you watch or inspirational books you read or quotes you look up online or how many inspiring, exciting songs you listen to, no one, me, you, no one can stay motivated all the time. It comes and it goes as unpredictably as the weather. Researcher and author Dr. Shad Helmstetter says it this way: most motivation simply doesn't stick. It doesn't stay with you. All external motivation is temporary. External motivation, which we talked about on a recent episode, it's the kind that may wake you up, but it will not keep you awake for long. External motivation is the kind that comes to you from the outside, and it cannot keep you from drifting off course when the motivator is gone. So here's what's important to know about motivation. We cannot count on it. We can't count on feeling motivated. So then we must ask the question, what can we count on, right? If you want to achieve your goals, we need something. We need a rock. We need something stable that we can count on. Well, don't bank on motivation, right? So instead of that, let's count on and bank on yourself. This is why I'm always saying and screaming and preaching, I believe in you, and I want you to believe in yourself, because believing in yourself and counting on yourself is what leads to our next thing, and it's what makes the next thing so incredibly powerful. And the next thing is commitment. So if motivation of these three, motivation, commitment, and consistency, if motivation was the really overrated thing, commitment is the essential ingredient. But what is commitment? Like, Corey, I thought I was committed before and I'm not, or I found out I wasn't, right? Well, there are two definitions that I think can really help us when it comes to commitment. The first one is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. Basically, being dedicated to a cause or activity. And then definition 2 says, an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. Oh, wait. We don't like how that sounds, do we? But it's what is necessary for true commitment, and it's just purely truth. At times, if we're going to follow through and be committed, if we're dedicated to a cause or activity, if we're going to pursue what we said we wanted, if we're going to do what we promised ourselves we would do, all of those things are commitment. If we are there, if we are in a state of commitment, then we must sometimes, as the definition says, restrict our freedom in order to maintain that commitment, in order to follow through. Now, restricting freedom, that might mean saying no to something. And this makes me think of the word sacrifice. You're sacrificing something that you may want now. Man, I really want to eat that piece of cake right now. Man, I really want to just eat pizza with everyone else right now. Man, I really want to sleep late, even though my alarm's going off. It's 5:15 a.m., and I know I said I was going to work out, but I'm so tired and I want to sleep in. Now, I'm not telling you whether you should or shouldn't do any of those things. But this is what I'm telling you. When you're fully committed, when you're in a state or quality of being dedicated to a cause that you have said you want, then you might have an obligation to restrict your freedom of action. So basically, that's taking away an option. Nope, I'm not going to eat the pizza. Nope, I'm not going to sleep in because I said I was going to work out. Because I said I was going to eat something else. I'm not going to do that. You're sacrificing something that you want now for something you want more later. And sacrifice, oh, we don't like that word, and it sounds like, oh, we don't want to have to sacrifice. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want anyone to have to sacrifice. It's just, there's kind of a certain connotation to that word. My friend, sacrifice is a beautiful thing. Matter of fact, it's the only way true commitment ever really happens. I have an entire teaching on this inside my coaching group, inside my Live Life, Lose Fat program. And I'll give you the super simple gist of it right now. Let me just slightly rephrase something I said earlier to kind of explain it. Sacrifice is not saying no to something that you want now. Sacrifice is saying yes to something that you want more later. Sacrifice is not saying no to the pizza or the piece of cake now. It's saying yes to your goals. It's saying yes to what you truly want out of life. Sacrifice is not saying no to yourself when you want to sleep in. Sacrifice is saying, yes, I'm going to show up for myself. I'm going to go get that workout in, and I'm going to feel amazing about it. And sure, might I be a little tired later today because I didn't get that extra 30 minutes of sleep? Yeah, but you know what? I will be so thrilled with myself because I showed up for myself. I proved to myself that I was actually committed because I was willing to sacrifice what I wanted in the moment for what I say I really want overall. So just a quick little sacrifice teaching there because I believe it pairs well with the idea of commitment. Now, as I said, sacrifice is the only way that true commitment ever really happens. And if we don't have commitment, then we can never have this third thing, which I believe is the secret to getting pretty much anything you want in life, and that is consistency. We defined commitment, let's define consistency. So consistency is, if we look it up, it just says, in every case or on every occasion, invariably means without varying, doing it always, regardless. That's consistency, my friends. And to achieve consistency, you must first, like I said, have commitment. Motivation, maybe, maybe not. But you must have commitment. You need to step over the line. You need to put your name on the dotted line. You need to put your money where your mouth is, whatever saying you want to choose. You need to promise yourself, maybe promise someone else. Do whatever it takes for you to truly commit to something. And then once you do this, like I said, motivation, it will come and go. It's overrated. We think we need it, but we don't. And relying on it will surely cause us to fail. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you are relying on your motivation, don't count on that. Like I mentioned earlier, count on yourself. And then commitment is the absolutely essential part of all this because it's the one thing that leads to consistency. And that's where we are right now. Consistency is what will get you anything you want in life. But here's the thing. If we get super honest, you may be like, yeah, Corey, I hear you on motivation. It is a feeling. It does come and go. I've experienced that. And you're right about commitment. Like, it does require some sacrifice. I hear you, I understand that. But man, consistency, that's hard. That's where I always slip up. I just can't be consistent. I can't figure out why, and I can't figure out a way to be consistent. So here are 3 secrets, plus 2 bonus secrets, plus 2 bonus tips to achieving consistency. You ready? These may seem super simple, or they may be earth-shaking for you. Either way, I just hope that you'll receive them with an open mind, because they are keys to doing something that maybe you've struggled to ever do in the past, which is be consistent. Secret number 1, you have to embrace an attitude that you're going to do it whether you feel like it or not. Screw feeling motivated. Screw how I'm feeling in the moment. Forget that. Just go all Nike and just do it. I'm going to do this whether I feel like it or not. And this is one of the big reasons I'm a huge proponent of approaching weight loss and changing our habits with a step-by-step system. Because if you don't do that, if you're just doing an all-or-nothing diet, well then basically what you're telling yourself is, I have to not just do it, I have to do everything whether I feel like it or not. And it's so overwhelming. But when you have a step-by-step process, then suddenly it's narrowed down. Your focus is narrowed and you feel empowered. Okay, breakfast. I'm going to crush this amazing healthy breakfast whether I feel like it or not. 3 workouts this week. Forget working out every day or twice a day. 3 workouts this week. Forget feeling motivated. Forget how tired I might feel. No. I'm going to do it whether I feel like it or not. Embracing that attitude and that approach is secret number 1. Secret number 2 is holding on to consistency and letting go of perfection. So many of us confuse these two. My friends, they are not the same thing. Consistent does not mean or equal perfect. It doesn't mean you can't mess up. Consistency is not perfection. Let me say it again for everyone. Turn the volume up. Write this down. Consistency is not perfection. In my free class that I do from time to time, I explain how to be imperfectly consistent. This is in the anti-diet class. You can register for that. You can view it. I'll tell you more about that at the very end of this episode. But I explain and I talk about imperfectly consistent. This is what's needed. But we can't ever be imperfectly consistent if we think that perfection and consistency are the same thing. Okay, now speaking of perfect, that leads to secret number 3 when it comes to being consistent. And that is getting up after you fall. Like, what happens the day after perfect, right? So maybe you're cruising and you're like, man, I got this and I haven't messed up yet. I feel so good and I'm building momentum, and then boom, something happens and you mess up. And here's the thing. I have a crystal ball and I can see your future, and I know it's going to happen. You're going to mess up, my friend. You're going to screw up. You are not going to be perfect. You will miss a day. You will miss a meal. You'll miss a workout. You'll eat a donut instead of your protein shake, whatever. And you know what? It's absolutely 1,000% okay. It's okay as long as you embrace secret number 3, which is you can get right back up and get back to being consistent. Because consistency does not equal perfection, and perfection does not equal consistency. That's what consistency means. It means not stopping when you mess up. So instead, the day after your streak of perfect ends, instead of quitting or beating yourself up, just get back to what you were doing. In my group, I like to say we mess up and move on. We all mess up. And guess what? We cherish those moments because it allows us to learn, okay, what happened there? Why did I mess up? It's not failure. It's amazing. We learn, and it helps us move forward in a positive direction. It's totally imperfect, and it's the only way that you will ever achieve your goals, my friend. Okay, now the bonus tips. You ready? Tip number 4, secret number 4, whatever you want to call it, is clarity. I'm going to go ahead and clump these together, number 4, number 5, because they just go so well. It's clarity and connection. If you want to be consistent, you must have clarity. Without clarity, like if you don't even know what you're supposed to do, then how are you ever going to do it? Like if you don't have a full understanding of the nutrition plan you're doing, or for me and my group, like what your next step is, what your specific next step is, or if you don't have clear understanding around your workout, your exercise program. if you don't know what you're going to do or you're supposed to do or how to do it, well, then how in the world are you ever going to do it and actually be consistent? So you need clarity. You need understanding of what is coming and what you are called to do. And then secret number 5, which again I pair along right with clarity, is connection. So here's the thing. A lot of you, okay, maybe not a lot. There's some of you who are maybe trying to lose weight on your own for the 1,000,000th time, right? And maybe you're doing that because you're just embarrassed because you've tried and failed so many times in the past. And the last thing you want to do is bring anyone into this, because then, if we're just really honest, it's so much easier to disappoint ourselves than it is to disappoint someone else. And I'm telling you, I hear you, I get that. But man, that it could be the very thing holding you back. Because when you fall, it's tough to get back up. But if you got someone with you, I think the good book talks about this a little bit. I think the Bible talks about this. If you have someone with you, it's much easier because they can help you up. And this is true with pretty much anything in life. Snow skiing, walking, jogging, just living life, a marriage, whatever. And it is especially true with weight loss. My friends, connection will keep you from facing the bully in your brain all on your own. The bully wants you by yourself, just like a bully on the schoolyard. They don't want to take on you and your friends and a coach or a trainer. No, because those people can speak truth into your life. They can pull you out of the emotions that the bully in your brain might be trying to stir up in you, and they can help you move forward, find a path forward in a positive way. Connection is essential. So, let's pull all this together. Sometimes I am exactly like every single human being in the world. Sometimes I don't want to record a podcast episode or go work out or eat a healthy, clean meal, whatever you want to call it, just for lack of a better phrase, a healthy and clean meal. I don't want to do it. I want to eat greasy Mexican or a fried chicken sandwich or whatever, right? I don't want to do that. But in those moments, because I understand what it means to be committed, and I understand that I don't have to be perfect, but I just need to be consistent. More times than not, enough times to keep me moving towards my goals. I say, you know what? Screw feeling motivated. I know I don't feel like it, but I don't care what I feel like right now. I'm committed to this. I'm committed to my health. I'm committed to my goals. I'm committed to this podcast and to all of you. So I will keep my promise. And I'll do it whether I feel like it or not. And I'll stay consistent, because being consistent is what really matters. Now, I want to give you a little sentence here with some fill in the blanks that will maybe help you find some clarity around this, right? So get ready, because I want you to really think through and fill in the blanks. Here we go, okay? I really don't want to blank. Fill in that blank. I don't want to start a diet. I really don't want to work out today. I really don't want to be connected, like Corey said. I don't want to get connected to a group or another person for help and support and accountability. I really don't want to eat a healthy dinner. Whatever. You fill in the blank. I really don't want to blank. But I'm going to say screw feeling motivated, because I am committed to fill in the blank. Because I'm committed to my health, because I'm committed to my goals, because I'm committed to losing the first 10 pounds, because I'm committed to having enough energy to play with my kids or play with my grandkids, because I'm committed to my body being able to do the things I want it to do. I want to go on a hike and I want to go snow skiing with family, whatever. I'm committed to fill in the blank. So I will keep my promise to myself, and I will do this whether I feel like it or not. And I'll stay consistent, because being consistent is the secret to achieving my goals and pretty much anything I want in life. I'm going to read through that again, and maybe you can kind of think through it real time now. I really don't want to blank, but I'm going to say screw feeling motivated, because I'm committed to blank. So I will keep my promise to myself and do it whether I feel like it or not. And I'll stay consistent, because being consistent is the secret to achieving my goals and pretty much anything I want in life. My friends, motivation is a feeling that will come and go. Commitment is a promise. It's your choice to keep that promise to yourself. And keeping that promise leads to consistency. And I just gave you 5 tips, 5 secrets of how to be more consistent if you've struggled with it in the past. And consistency is the honestly kind of boring but incredibly powerful secret that will lead you to whatever you want in life. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you'll share it with a friend or maybe 2 or 3, and that all of you will get together and discuss it. Hey, what did you think about that? How do you feel about what Corey said about commitment? Do you feel like I'm committed? Do we make sacrifices? When's the time you were most consistent? When's the time you were least consistent? Those are great topics of discussion. Listen to this episode and then get together, discuss it. Now, before I sign off, just a friendly reminder that if you would like to support this podcast, there are 3 ways you can do that. Number 1, you can take the next step and join my Inner Circle coaching program. You hear me talk about it on the group. You hear me talk about it on the group. Goodness. Come on, Corey. You hear me talk about it on the podcast. You hear me reference it in different episodes. And it's an amazing place. Look, this is the biggest win-win of all the various options for supporting the podcast. It's the most powerful way for you to support the podcast and support yourself also on your health and weight loss journey. You not only get access to the amazing community of support, the amazing Inner Circle coaching group, but you also get my step-by-step roadmap to losing weight, my Live Life, Lose Fat program. It will help you not only lose weight, but change your brain and gain confidence and reduce your stress around food. Honestly, 99% of the time, if someone likes this podcast, they absolutely love the coaching group. If you want more info about that, you can simply shoot an email to support@CoreyLittleCoaching.com, and you will get a reply within a few hours. So if you don't see one, check your spam folder, check your junk mail. We always reply, okay? Support@CoreyLittleCoaching.com. That email address will be down in the show notes. That's the first way you can support this podcast if you'd like to. The second way is by purchasing Rise Nutrition products. These are products that I believe in, I trust, and I and my clients actually take on a consistent basis. If you're interested in giving these Rise products a try, you can find them on Amazon or at the website challenge, the number 2, not the word 2, but the number 2, rise.com, challenge2rise.com. I'll include both of those Amazon links and that website in the show notes. And then the third and final way that you can support the podcast is by dropping a tip in the virtual tip jar. If you're a real lifer and you absolutely love this podcast, but you have no plans to join the Inner Circle or purchase Rise products, but you'd like to support the podcast, here's a way you can do that. You'll find a link to the tip jar down in the show notes as well. Okay, now, thank you so much for listening. I'm absolutely honored that you spent some of your time with me today. I sincerely hope this was helpful. And please, whatever you do, never forget that there's so much more to you than a number on the scales. So don't let that dominate your headspace or dictate your emotions for the day. No. You're more than that. And losing weight, it's incredible. I love helping people do it, but losing weight is really all about gaining life and living the life you've always wanted. And I know you can do it, even if you've tried and failed. Even if you're like, Corey, I've never been able to be consistent. It's okay. I believe in you. I want you to believe in yourself. You keep coming back, I'll keep working on you, because you can't count on your feelings. You can't count on motivation, but you can count on yourself. So I want you to build that belief in yourself. Okay? Take care, my friends. God bless. Bye-bye.